Welcome back to Simplexity Analytics seasonal report for March of 2024. This month we have four markets that are the most bearish or bullish, and those are the Mexican peso on the bullish side and coffee, sugar, and Japanese yen on the bearish side. So we will cover in depth in this video coffee and sugar heat maps, and as always every month we will go over the S&P E-mini heat map as well. Gold, 30-year bonds, the peso, and the Japanese yen will be available in the members area on the website. First up, we're going to have a look at the coffee market on the seasonal chart. And you'll notice here that March, like we said, is the most bearish month of the year. It has finished the month higher than it opens only 22% of the time. So that means 78% of the time it has finished March lower than it has opened. And it has lost over $44,000 in the 20 plus years of this backtest. If we look at the Simplexity seasonal indicator at the bottom, 2 years ago, the indicator actually showed a slight increase or pretty flat for the month of March. Last year, we saw a pretty good decline in the indicator. The indicator looks virtually the same this year. If we look at the price, 2 years ago saw a pretty big decline in March. Last year, same thing, a big decline in March. And this year is looking like a similar type of setup to the last 2 years where we had a rally heading into March and then a decline. Here we had a rally heading into March and a decline. And this year, a rally into March. So we'll see if we get this decline again this year. And here is the heat map for coffee for March of 2024. Now, when looking at these heat maps, what you do is, first of all, look where your eye is drawn to. And it should be drawn to the bright red area here and another bright red area here. So if we know that this is a bearish month, we want to look for clusters of those bright reds together, both vertically and horizontally. So that will show us that this second week of March here is where to key in on for shorts. And to a lesser degree here, we have some lighter reds, but we have some greens mixed in with it. So I'm not too keen on that one. But then again, in the last week, we get some bright reds again. So the second and fourth week are the key weeks here for the coffee market. And turning over to the sugar market now, we see that March is the most bearish month for sugar. It has finished the month higher than it opens only 27% of the time, and it has lost over $23,000 in the 20 plus years of the backtest. And if you look at the Simplexity seasonal indicator, we see that the end of February and into the beginning of March tops out, and we see a big decline after that. 2 years ago, last year, and this year doesn't show the duration heading into April, May so much, but we still do see a big decline for March. And if we look at the last couple years in prices for sugar, sugar has bucked the seasonal trend in the last 2 years. March came in, March rallied 2 years ago. Last year, March rallied, and then April really rallied. This year, we don't know yet, but are we going to have another third straight bucking of the trend in sugar, or is sugar going to follow its course seasonally and have a decline? Let's have a look at the heat map and see where to expect bearishness in sugar. And here is the sugar heat map for March. And look at that, not a single green box. So this is a very bearish month. There isn't as much consistent bright reds across horizontally or vertically as I would like, whereas the whole month has a smattering of both light and dark reds. So one thing to note here too with sugar is it uses only $1,000 stop, since it's a little bit of a smaller market and the dollar values are a little bit less on this daily movement. So we use a lesser stop in this market. But there isn't really one particular area to key in on here. We have the very first week has maybe more bright reds than the middle two, and then the last week has some more bright reds as well. But we have very good dollar values and winning percentages the entire month for sugar on the heat map. And as always, here is our monthly look at the S&P E-minis. The seasonal chart says that March is actually the fourth most bullish month of the year. It has finished March higher than it opened 67% of the time and has returned $23,000 in the backtest. If you look at the seasonal indicator, though, it's a little bit confusing because March shows a very steep decline in and through March. 2 years ago, last year, and this year showing much of the same thing. But then we look here, maybe this little tick off here at the bottom where it starts to rally is the very end of March. the very end of March, and here it's showing it a little bit earlier in March. If you look at the prices, 2 years ago, beginning of March showed a decline and then a rally towards the end. Last year, decline, rally towards the end of March again. And we'll have to look and see what happens this year. So let's see if the heat map can show a little more insight into this beginning of March bearishness followed by end of March bullishness. And here's the seasonal heat map for the S&P E-minis, and right away we'll see that the seasonal indicator is showing exactly what's happening on the heat map. We see the beginning of the month had some reds up here, and this is just kind of a follow through from February, where if you remember from last month, February is a very bad month traditionally and seasonally for the E-minis, and that carries over into the beginning of March as well, and doesn't start turning around until really the third or the last week of March. And this week here in March is actually very, very good. We have a lot of very green numbers here with high dollar values and winning percentages. And we also have a 5-day hold coming up on March the 25th. That's the Monday to start off the week. Has been 82% holding for 5 days and has returned over $22,000. So this is almost the exact replica of what the seasonal indicator showed, but this on the heat map. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified on our next videos. Simplexity Analytics, making complex trading simple.